So, Farley, I was wondering, since this is a Christmas episode, I was hoping you could maybe grant me a little Christmas wish. That wish is not to do the stupid Office intro thing that doesn't make too much sense.
Hang on. You called me Farley. I don't think we're supposed to be Farley and Richie in the Office intro, right?
Do we have personas? Did we create character backgrounds for the Office intros?
I think rather than have accents or try and do a different voice or have different character names, we were clearly not just me and you, because we were talking about office-based things and weekly meetings and things like that. That was the personas. It was very clear.
But could they not just be Office Richie and Farley then?
No, because they occasionally talked about Richie and Farley.
Oh yeah. It's not the best concept in the world, is it?
Oh, apparently it has a cult following.
Cult following
from our readers, yeah.
I mean, at time of recording, we are 2 episodes deep.
That's how strong a concept it is.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, so I was thinking for Christmas, because it's the season of hope and joy, and we just desperately need some hope and joy. In the Office intro, we could have Francis going postal, because he was late that time, then we reprimanded him, and then we've kind of been passively aggressively bullying him in some of the intros. We have to remember to do that when we record those.
Yeah.
And now
he had it coming, to be fair.
Yeah. And so now he's gone postal because work-life balance issues. He's got this chronically ill child at home, and he's found a jobby in the toilets.
But no, I mean, since it's a Christmas episode, surely it'd be going Christmas postal.
Yeah. Okay, there are no mince pies. Or there were mince pies too early.
The mince pies were too early.
Yeah.
The mince pies were replaced by clementines.
Yeah, the part of a well-being health drive.
Yeah, exactly. Have a healthy, happy Christmas.
Yeah. And that is the last straw. And then we deliver the intro crouched under a table in the office as our alter egos.
And we put on sound effects of him, I don't know, struggling. I don't know.
Screaming.
We could just have Francis screaming.
Screaming and photocopy noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because it is the season of goodwill, and that is your Christmas wish, we will abandon this, perhaps the strongest Office concept intro to an episode we've ever had.
We've been so good with our concept episodes in the past, you know.
Or maybe we could have had John McClane. Yeah, and then John McClane comes and saves it. That's the end. The end of the episode.
And
it was Die Hard all along.
Francis was Die Hard?
Francis died hard.
Oh, Francis died hard. So he was being the Franz Gruber of the episode.
Yeah. And then in between that, we could have mentioned that this is about video games. And it's linked to the website www.thatguys.co.uk, which has been going since 2006, secretly 2004, based on all kinds of video game things. And we'd also mention that we have socials.
And the socials can be found at That Guy's a Maniac, all one word, lowercase, on your usual socials, your Twitters, your YouTubes, your Facebooks.
Yeah. Your OnlyFans.
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta stop. Gotta do that between now and Christmas now.
I'll do it now.
Start now. Snapping away.
However, Die Hard, you actually made me remember, our last Christmas episode was pretty strong. Have you written a poem for this Christmas episode this year?
I haven't, but I will as we go along. But what's the theme of this Christmas episode?
Well, the theme of this Christmas episode, in keeping with this time of joy and love, and hopefully you're sitting at home with your loved ones.
Yeah, not sat watching Zoom calls of your nephew who doesn't understand where cameras are opening Christmas presents.
Like Christmas 2020, that lovely Christmas where you just watched your grandma struggle with taking the tape off ever so slowly because she wants to keep the
she wants to save the paper.
the paper.
And you're like, Granny,
just
you've not
open it.
you're a high risk category. You've not got that many more years of Christmas, and you've been stockpiling Christmas paper.
Yeah. The precious moments are dwindling away, and you're spending them with sellotape.
And on top of that, you've got 40 years worth of carefully saved Christmas paper in the top cupboard, and you've not used any of it.
But yes, hopefully everybody is at home with their loved ones enjoying a Yuletide feast and fun and frolicking. But in keeping with that, I think our episode should be centered around the saddening commercialism that exists around Christmas, and make this episode all about video games which feature branding and or product placement. What do you think, Farley?
Yes, that sounds like a great idea, and I will endeavour to, as we go, write a poem about branding in video games to read at the end. And having a poem, do you know what? A lot of people are worried about the erosion of traditions, but here's that guy's a maniac Christmas message to you. Make your own traditions. Keep the good ones. Get rid of the old ones. And here's our new tradition: is I'm going to come up with a poem based around branding in video games, and that's going to be our Christmas wish to you.
Brilliant. Yes, our Christmas wish to you this year is Farley's spoken word poem, limerick, or Iambic pentameter.
Niantic pentameter.
Niantic. Oh, tie in the Pokemon Go reference straight away. Yeah.
So let's start with some preamble. How do you feel about brands in games? What we specifically we're talking about? You have a real world brand that's present in some way in your video game. Could be subtle. Could be in your face.
Yeah. That's kind of the product placement side of things. But then you also get video games that have just blatantly been sponsored by or even made by the companies. You know, so for instance, ones that feature mascots of the brands and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get lots of things like that as well. And yeah, well, there's some dead air. Happy Christmas, everyone.
You just inspired me. You've inspired the first line of the poem.
Ah, of course. Right. Okay. Yeah. I forget that you're actually writing this poem on the fly. So I apologise for the dead air comment, and I will continue on, and I will waffle, giving you yet more time.
Yeah, I'm nearly there.
Yeah. So maybe we could even actually start the episode. We are now 9 minutes.
Cue the music. Cue the jingly jangle bells music and the snow sounds.
The snow Sonic and the whatever I put on last year's Christmas episode music. Yeah.
Reindeer bells. Get them in.
Reindeer bells. Okay. And what about your poem? Does it need some fat beats over it?
I mean, it could be. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe we could drop some beats behind it.
Drop some beats. Cool.
Are you pro branding in games? Anti-branding in games? Depends how they do it.
I guess I suppose it depends how they do it. I think I like the balls deep sort of approach. You know, so for instance, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this one or not, but like Cool Spot. So that was just genuinely a mascot created by 7-Up, and then they decided to make a game called Cool Spot. I mean that was just like we don't care. We don't give a fuck. This is a game about 7-Up. Buy 7-Up and enjoy this game. Does it work?
It was a really good game.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive.
But here's the existential crisis that has just popped into my head. Did it make you want to buy 7-Up?
I mean, I have bought 7-Up.
But because of that game?
Maybe a little bit.
All right, okay.
Because it had and this is one of those little ephemeral bits about games which I really love. I loved back in the day. We don't get it so much. It's still there. But you'd have like a rolling title screen. And the one for Cool Spot, I don't know if you remember, was just brilliant. It was Cool Spot surfing on a 7-Up bottle, maybe?
Okay. Makes sense, yeah.
And in the background, maybe this could be the music of the episode, was what was it? It's like a surfing song.
Was it like a Beach Boys sort of pseudo harmony thing going on?
No, it was like
okay, wipe out. Yeah.
We used to spend hours just watching that screen.
Wow.
Listening to the cool music.
Misspent youth.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have fond memories of it, and now every time I see a 7-Up, I think of Cool Spot.
But yeah, excellent. That is branding that straight up actually worked.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But it was just a really good game.
Yeah, no, I remember it being good. As a platformer, it was fine. But I mean, from the branding point of view, I don't think I even really cared, and it certainly did not make me think I want a 7-Up or I'm going to buy more 7-Up now or fuck Sprite or anything like that. You know, it was just kind of. I really should tone down the swearing for the Christmas episode as well. I mean, what a great way to spread joy to the world. Fuck Sprite.
Bum, bum. I'm now just watching it.
All right, okay.
It's the old 7-Up as well. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing. In my mind, the bottle he was surfing on was like a contemporary 7-Up
the green plastic bottle
with
in
the
the
red,
ocean. Wow.
With the red, yeah, but it's very old school. Just green and white. There's no red there at all.
Yeah.
I guess Cool Spot's the red.
Yes. Okay, well there you go.
Yeah. I'm not too sure until we start talking about it that I knew that Cool Spot was a mascot for 7-Up.
As I was saying it, I was starting to doubt in my head. Is he the mascot or was that an actual character created for the video game? But I just went with it and hoped you wouldn't bring it up.
Here's a Christmas myth for you children. Yeah, apparently he was a mascot, but I'd never seen him
I told
outside.
you. Oh my god, I can't believe you never saw. I'm pretty sure. I remember you used to have the drawn guy. He looked like he was sort of pencil drawn, and he was a 7-Up mascot for a while.
Oh yeah, he had a name, didn't he?
He did something like Doodle.
Fido Dido.
Fido Dido, yeah. It's not like Doodle.
And what's interesting is Fido Dido reminds me of another Mega Drive game where you play a character who kind of looks like Fido Dido, but isn't.
Fido Dido always remind me of a character straight out of Doug. You remember Doug?
Yeah. I remember Doug. Green Dog.
Green Dog.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, Green Dog. Wow. Boom. Right in the nostalgia.
Yeah. Who also was kind of a surfing dude as well. It's like a corporate trinity of one. On the one side, you've got just a pure Mega Drive game with a character who was a surfer, and then Cool Spot was a mascot who featured in a Mega Drive game, and then Fido Dido kind of looked like Green Dog, but was also a 7-Up mascot. There you go. That's the new rock, paper, scissors.
Wow. That's... Just recite them again?
So, Green Dog is a pure video game character who featured in a Mega Drive game.
Okay, and he trumps...
he trumps Fido Dido, because Fido Dido's not in a video game at all.
Okay.
But was a 7-Up mascot. And then Fido Dido trumps Cool Spot because he was a much better mascot than Cool Spot ever was in our collective memory. But then the Cool Spot game was much better than Green Dog, if memory serves. So Cool Spot beats Green Dog. Green Dog beats Fido Dido. Cool Spot beats Fido Dido. There we go.
Okay.
Memorable rules.
So apparently Fido Dido actually almost had a video game.
Really?
Yeah. But Happy Christmas, everyone. The studio got shut down in the summer of 1994. Oh well. There you go. Yeah. Hot off the presses, straight out of your Wikipedias.
Yeah.
Into your ears, readers.
So that's quite an egregious example. I think the one-ups were just little 7-Up signs.
Yeah. I mean, like at that point, you've gone so deep into it that you can get away with anything. It's like you've created this whole 7-Up marketing world. Do whatever the fuck you want. Oh, watch the swearing in the Christmas episode.
What's Santa gonna say about it? You're gonna get caught. But then, in order to keep Cool Spot at an appropriate scale, so you could see a whole 7-Up bottle, for example, the whole game was set at that scale. There's a cool level on a toy train set.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like repeated tiles that much. It was actually quite, no, and I liked it when games did that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, you were washed up on the beach, and then you were fighting crabs. I remember you fighting a lot of crabs early on in that game.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so let's wrap this one up because as an example, I think this is fine as a, you've gone balls deep. This is it. We are doing a game. We are very, very clearly working closely with PepsiCo to make this, a big thing. The other end of the spectrum, and it's where it gets a bit icky for me, is where you just see a random thing pop up in a game and you think, why did you do that? Why is it necessary? Does it do anything? And my shining example of that is Mario Kart. And why is there BMW cars in there?
Wasn't it Mercedes-Benz?
I mean, much of a muchness in my head. But yeah, sure. Mercedes-Benz. Okay. Yeah, I find that a bit jarring and weird and odd. I don't know.
So in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. And the other one, the extended version on the Switch.
The DX? Is it called Mario Kart DX?
Sure.
Deluxe? Yeah, it's called Deluxe. Mario Kart Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If you were playing it live, as I was, one day there was just the free DLC for it, which was just 3 mini, or two or three mini Mercedes-Benz bits.
Yeah.
And then Mario Kart's just driving around in a Mercedes-Benz. I thought it was alright, actually. I didn't mind that.
I didn't feel like that is a target audience for Mario Kart, I also I'm not like super against it either, but at the same time, you've got all of these colourful, rather creative, interesting
this car's a shoe.
Yeah,
this car's a caterpillar. This car is
a horse for Link and things like that.
This car's a pirate ship. This car's a cradle.
And then this car's a car.
Yeah, this car's the Mercedes DX7 twin litre 7-valve.
Yeah.
In I don't know,
donkey
Rolex.
flange.
In Rolex silver. But what I was really disappointed about, I didn't mind too much the Mercedes-Benz in the Mario Kart, but what I really wanted was Mercedes-Benz to launch a line of Mario Karts.
Yeah, fair is fair. You know, if you're going to be in collaboration, there should at least be like, a World 1-1 version painted. Mercedes-Benz, you know.
Or
big they Bowser face on the front of the hood. You know,
they just released a car in the shape of a wiggler.
Yeah, and it actually rattles up and down as it tries.
Yeah, as it tries. Yeah, and you have a little button that if you press it, it just drops turtle shells out the back.
Yeah, and you also have the turbo button, but instead of turbo, it just basically takes the shell off it and turns it into the Red Evil Wiglet. You know?
Yeah. Man, those red wigglers are terrifying.
Yeah, they are driven. They are focused individuals. You know?
Yeah, but if you jump on them, they're like, I'm gonna march up and down really fast now.
Yeah, really. I'm really mad. Stomp. Yeah.
In my little set pattern. I remember an early example that I remember of in-game real brands in games, which wasn't very subtle. It was in Judge Dredd for the PlayStation.
Oh yes.
It was sponsored by Red Bull, but in such an unsubtle way. It was just it felt like, my memory says, every single crate you walk past.
Yeah.
Was just a Red Bull branded crate, and that was it. It wasn't anything. It was just every crate in your generic first-person shooter is now a Red Bull branded crate.
Yep. I mean, I saw some pictures of it. I've never played it, but yeah, my god, that was like I don't even really associate Judge Dredd with Red Bull either.
Yeah, I don't know how that collab came about, really, because because with that same sponsor, and I'm sure there's a book out about Red Bull's rise to fame, and they just sponsored everything, right? And that's how they're tied up with extreme sports. But then you look at the Red Bull in Wipeout 2097, and maybe the original Wipeout, or maybe it was just the original Wipeout. That's kind of done really well because they were sponsoring real life weird things. It's like,
but you make your own headcanon, like, oh wow, Red Bull still exists in 2077,
97
or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Wipeout 1 was in 2077.
I don't know when that. I'm not going to tell the story about how Wipeout and G-Police and Colony Wars all in the same universe.
It's my headcanon. Don't fuck with it. Oh, swearing
again.
Richie.
Just so cool, so hard and cool, so swearing. And it's a bit like, I don't know why. Again, another trifecta, another triangle, another trinity, another triple is in the movie Demolition Man, which features Sylvester Stallone, who also played Judge Dredd.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Taco Bell is the brand that survives.
Oh yeah.
And so when he emerges from the frost or whatever, and he's like, "Wow, Taco Bell survived, and nothing else did," and it's a really fancy restaurant. But
okay.
In the UK, we didn't really have Taco Bell, so to me,
we've only just had them, sort of like.
Yeah. So I always
owned by Burger King or something.
I didn't get that. Taco Bell was just a shitty fast food restaurant. So until I finally saw one, I always thought it was a fancy restaurant.
That's quite interesting.
Because of Demolition Man.
I guess you imagine every Taco Bell has the 3 shells in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's just a taco place. Yes, it becomes high couture. And so for me, the Red Bull sponsorship in Wipeout 2097 filled that similar spot.
Yeah.
Of as you say, everything else is pretty unrecognisable, but Red Bull, the brand, still hangs in there.
Yeah. I mean, I like it when they do that sort of future stuff. I'm sure they did things in like, oh god, like when you've got your aliens or your Blade Runners. I know that they have like a similar corporation, but yeah,
Atari was in Blade Runner, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's like you see that sort of retro futuristic thing going on. Yeah, you know what? I dig that because that does evoke some kind of I'm in the future, but I know this brand. I can get behind that one actually. I'm happy with that.
Relatedly? Coincidentally, perhaps. A friend of mine sent me a photo today of adverts on the tube. So sometimes when you're at a tube station in London, you've got the adverts which you're forced to stare at. And the adverts were for the Ghostbusters movie and Back to the Future, the musical.
Yeah.
It's just like, if a time traveler from the 80s travelled forward 40 years to London, and they run down to the tube station like, what the fuck? Ghostbusters and Back to the Future are still going?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that. Yeah, but yeah, totally. Like, but I mean, that's the world we live in. We there is very little that is original. There's so much rehashing and what's it called? Rebooting. It's everybody complains. Let's have something new. Because there've been so many unsuccessful reboots. Immediately, all I'm thinking about is Total Recall and RoboCop. But I'm sure that there's been a lot of reboots with video games as well that just didn't work.
Well, the Atari example we mentioned in Blade Runner is quite interesting because when you watch the old Blade Runner, you're like, oh, they thought Atari was going to be, around in the future or really important in the future. When our generation was kind of watching Blade Runner from the 70s. But of course, then Atari came back from the dead.
Yeah.
And is now, I can tell you what video games they put out Transformers games for a while. That's
yeah,
one
they
of
did.
the few things I remember.
Yeah, they've got one of their own retro consoles as well.
Yeah. But they now exist almost as much as a retro brand, right? So it's Atari T-shirts, Atari bags, than they ever do. So it was quite a nice nod, I think, in the rebooted Blade Runner.
Is it rebooted? I've not seen the new Blade Runner.
It was a direct sequel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2097.
2097. Was it 2097?
Yeah. And there's a couple of scenes in the background where you see there's a Wipeout track. Red Bull sponsorship. Combining the
following on from the previous Wipeout tournament in 2077.
Yeah. Combining the Xmasness universe with the Blade Runner universe.
and coincidentally the what's it called, the Alien universe as well, from the Wacom or whatever it's called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Wutani?
Yeah, no, I forget what it's called. Anyway, there's they share a company.
Wutani.
Wutani. So that means Atari and Sega are in the same universe.
Blade Runner. Wacom. Made myself laugh. Blade Runner's 2040 something, 2049. So
Wayland is the company.
Wayland Yutani.
Oh yeah. Wutani. Anyway.
Deep dive into fake brand.
Yeah, I mean, like, now we're getting quite meta with our branding. We're now looking at fake brands.
Yeah, I see. I have a lot of time for fake brands. I think. As our season 1 sponsor showed.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, it's like every single one was an advert.
But there's also something deeply sad about the fact that in order to make your games more realistic, you have to create fake. You have to have branding
monopolies.
everywhere.
Yeah. Some evil corporation. Yeah.
So I'm not buying into this planet-cracking flying space station with some primeval evil totem that you dig up, unless on every corner or on every object there's some.
Yeah, unless Toys R Us still exist in this universe.
Yeah. If there's Funko collectibles, or you have to shoot 100 Funkos, then I'm bought into that universe. But if there's not,
what's the latest one? It's not Funkos. It's the rubber ducks tubs or something like that.
Yeah, I got my mum the Resident Evil 3 Jill Valentine duck.
Ah, okay. You haven't taken your foray into that, have you?
I haven't taken my foray into a duck.
Sorry, you haven't dipped your toe into buying any of those, have you?
The ducks?
Yeah.
Apart from the one I just mentioned that I bought.
Oh my god, for yourself, you prick.
No, I haven't.
Because you're a rampant collector of things.
I haven't taken a foray into that forum.
Oh my god. Right.
Another egregious brand thing is in Pokemon Go.
Oh, now there's been a few potentials there as well, but what is your Pokemon Go brand thing?
There was a worry. I remember there being a panic when I think it happens way more in other countries than it does here, because the UK is some kind of backwater when it comes to any kind of fun digital entertainment. Basically, increasingly everything.
Yeah.
But there's a panic when lots of the Pokestops essentially become sponsored. So for a while, every McDonald's was a Pokestop. I think Starbucks for a while. If you go to a place like Japan, basically every 7-Eleven is.
So then there was supposed to be a joint partnership, so that every McDonald's was going to be a gym, not a Pokestop. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really have an issue with that.
No, I mean, if you live in a small town in the UK, which is most of them, at least you have a McDonald's.
Yeah.
The one gym for 10 square miles that you can go around.
Yeah, and then I don't know, they're getting quite good with it now, because everywhere you go there's a post box, that has now become a Pokestop, or a milestone marker, which there's so many of in the UK, and they're so stupid.
The around
Blue
my
plaques.
way, around my way, it's the community boards. The sad little
yes
message boards. Those are the 3 nearest ones to me. But then more recently than that, they've just gone for these straight up. Here is get a Nike Air T-shirt for your horrible character model. The North Face.
The Pokemon shirts as well.
Yeah, which is weird. It's the Pokemon collaborating
Double
with its own collaboration with Original Stitch. Longchamp. Never heard of that brand. And with those, unlike Mercedes fucking Benz, a lot of those were real world products.
Yeah.
As well, so you could get your free Longchamp clothing, and if you went to Longchamp, that's how you pronounce it. You could buy a $1,500,000 Pikachu. We've whinged about this before, and they're getting there, I think, for something. But there are 900 Pokemon, and there are many subtle ways of branding. So the Original Stitch stuff, which is, if you don't know, it's a company which makes shirts, and there are all these amazing. I think they're up to the 3rd generation with some bonus ones from Galar and Film Link ones. There's amazing textiles for each of the Pokemon up to the 3rd generation, and some of them are
they're really cool designs as well.
Yeah, and some of they're all really, really cool designs. The vast majority of them, I think, are unwearable.
Unwearable?
Yeah, they're just so loud. You know, it's not. There's very few settings where you can kind of wear them, unless you're making a statement. But it's cool because and you can personalize your shirt, and you can choose the material on the inside collar, the outside collar. You can have a casual shirt. You get face masks, etc. So that was cool because you could get a nice looking shirt that would look like a nice looking shirt, and if people knew, they could see that, actually that's whatever, you've got Ledian in there.
Yeah.
Whereas all these big collaborations with Longchamp and Uniqlo or whatever are like, here's a thing with
stripes
18
on its legs. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Pikachu faces all over it, and maybe the word Pokemon. No, that's not very subtle. And they're also quite expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. Do something classy. It doesn't have to be, here's a massive Pikachu face with the word Pikachu and Pokemon all over.
Yeah. And since we were on the topic of McDonald's, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast as well, there was the McDonald's Land game. Yeah,
it's been keeping Let's Players going for generations. They all
really?
take the yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
it's a thing that all Let's Play channels do. Did you know there was this McDonald's game?
Oh, okay, right. Well, I'm annoyingly. Not only have we probably talked about it before, but we're recycling the fucking stuff that other person out there has got. Great. Okay, cool. And again, more swearing.
Had you played it?
Yes, I played the Commodore 64 version of it.
And how did you get it? Did you have to buy it from McDonald's? Was it in Happy Meals?
No, I think at this point I either bought it in Woolworths or John Menzies.
John Menzies. Are they still going?
No, they were bought over by W.H. Smith.
Yeah.
But I think weirdly, all of the boxes, I don't know if it's the same company or not, but you always see Menzies, and I feel like they deliver newspapers and things like that. And I feel like, is it just John Menzies? I don't know.
He's just got fingers in many pies.
Yeah. Or just retired from the high street before everyone else did, and then went into packaging. But like where I grew up, they used to have a McDonald's, a Woolworths, and a John Menzies right beside each other. So it was like you would go in there and check in the toys and the pick and mix, and then you go around the corner, look at the magazines, and get the look at the video games, which were just only for Spectrum, Commodore 64. And to be honest, they didn't change week in, week out, but you still went in and looked at them, you know?
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever fallen down the rabbit hole of one of the rarest DS games, or DS piece of software, which is I think it was Japan only McDonald's training software that came on these specific DS.
Oh, okay.
And so you get these absolutely mental collectors and people who preserve these, into digital preservation, and this software became one of those holy grails because so rare and they weren't really preserved. And there's a really nice series of videos that I ended up watching. Because it's a really interesting story. So like somebody got there, somebody saw one on eBay, and it was some silly money, and then they bought it. But then you get the software, and it needs a code, admin code, and so then a bunch of code breakers got onto the case to try and work out what this code could be and what it meant. Meantime, it's all in Japanese, so there's like another bunch of people who are translating all those stuff. But it's a really heartwarming. I do feel for all the guys and gals who are into trying to save and access and preserve all this really obscure stuff that hasn't been preserved because it was a DS-based training software for a handful of branches in Japan. It's a really good video to see the story of it, and this guy's like, do I remortgage my house to put a bid on this eBay auction for this fucking training software? And then once they got unlocked it and went into it, and there's a bit of proprietariness, and it's all people confirming each other's identities through third parties to know that they're legit. to unlock really boring software. Like, here's how you make a burger. You put the cheese on the bun, and you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but that was this year. Something I ended up watching in lockdown as a kind of a branded thing, but not really a game, but coming on a game thing.
Well, that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. That's a good story.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, McDonald Land, Commodore 64. I remember really liking the game, and I remember it got very favourable reviews, which just made you wonder if is the Commodore 64 magazine racket all being controlled by McDonald's.
Yeah, and that's why they're definitely still around, and the Commodore 64 is definitely still a thing. That's almost at the level of Atari. You occasionally see the Commodore 64 logo.
Well, we
on
played
things.
that Commodore 64. The little USB thing you plug into HDMI and you can play it with the joystick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McDonald's made a series of video games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they did.
Including what? Including Spot, the Cool Adventure.
Spot.
The Cool Adventure, which featured Cool Spot, the character.
Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry. Language. Wow.
How is that a McDonald's game? Does McDonald's own 7-Up?
Maybe Pepsi is the McDonald's thing?
No, McDonald's definitely doesn't have Pepsi, does it?
I don't know.
This is according to the Wikipedia page, category McDonald's video games. Spot, the Cool Adventure.
Wow. I have no idea.
On the GB Color.
Okay.
Oh, it's all leading back to fucking lizard people, isn't it?
It really is.
and Spot, the Cool Adventure was made
Apparently it's for NES and Game Boy.
was made by Virgin Games.
Yep. 7-Up proudly presents Spot the Cool Adventure.
But what's the
And it was a
McDonald's
Game
thing?
Boy. It's one of those ones where you can use the link as well. So I don't know if there was a 2-player functionality. And the game structure is based on MC Kids, which is the McDonald's Land's Kids thing.
Is that the only link?
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be. Okay. It's a port of the NES game MC Kids. So it, so basically it was they just recycled the game and put a different mascot in there. They took McDonald's game and turned it into 7-Up game. I mean, that is quite enterprising. Evil corporations. There you go.
Yeah.
It's all tying together here, Farley.
And that's how we got to... For the North American Japanese release, this game's McDonald's license was replaced with 7-Up. Presumably due to Virgin somehow losing the former. Oh yeah, it's really crazy. So instead of there being... what's that big purple thing?
The Hamburglar and the I don't know.
There's a whole cast. There was like the walking pom-poms, the big purple thing.
Yes.
Grimace.
Grimace, yeah.
Yeah. So instead of Grimace's forest, oh god, it became carbonated forest.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at screenshots where it's just straight up taking the sprites away, and it's
oh man.
Yeah, that's special.
That's the deep state. That's the deep state for you.
See,
okay.
This is icky. That's the icky side of branding in video games. There you go.
so, you know, paper thin, just a veneer that you can just wholesale swap out the brand and put in the other brand.
Yeah. Whoever's to the highest bidder. Here's our shitty platformer.
Yeah. Want to get the kids into burgers? Oh, we'll pay some more money to get the kids into fizzy drinks.
Yeah. Cool lemon.
Cool.
Lemon and lime? Lemon and lime? Is that the flavour 7-Up?
I don't know. What flavour is it? It's just 7-Up's just 7-Up, isn't it? They've not really done a huge amount of them.
I want to say it's lemon and lime. It's exactly the same as Sprite.
It's lemon. Oh, I do really want a 7-Up.
Today's TGAM Christmas special brought to you by 7-Up.
By 7-Up. Don't go to McDonald's, kids. Just get yourself some 7-Up.
But yeah, you actually, when you were talking about Pokemon Go and the branding within it, it made me think of sports games. They always have a huge range of like real world brands in there as well. So like if you played any golf game, they have like the actual ping golf clubs that you can buy in the shop, and they have the clothing, the clothing wear and stuff like that all there as well. Is that selling out, or is it adding to the simminess of it?
I don't know, but I think on that note, sport, all the branding that comes with sports, and the sponsorship, and all the if you become like one of the top sports stars in football, NBA, etc. You get a manager to manage your likeness and all these things, and there's various scandals around likenesses, and there's the famous FIFA. Is it the FIFA curse, where various
the Madden curse, yeah.
I think it probably works with all of them. Various player of the season who are featured on the cover of the game.
Really badly,
yeah, and fall from grace or get injured, and
it's basically they've made a lot of money from getting their likeness on there and spent it all on coke, and everything went downhill.
Yeah. So sports games in general have been, or I guess the corporate sponsorship side of sports have been all over video games very early on. I think when others weren't.
Yeah.
Others were producing curios like Cool Spots, Frozen Adventures.
I like stuff like it's not even relevant in some cases as well, like Tony Hawk's. Like, you can go in and you can customize your character with lots of different skater brands, I mean, they don't add anything, they don't do anything, they don't give you stats or anything like that. It's just more like, I'm wearing some Vans shoes, and you get to choose from all the things in the range. That's quite good advertising, because it's just like, look, we have shoes, they're available in all these colours. You can put them on your dolly as well.
Yeah. I think more problematic is, I don't think it ever happened with cigarette brands, but all the Formula One ones. There's
God, of course.
Shell,
yeah.
There's Mobil, all these big oil companies were in those games because they sponsored the real thing as well. In a way that in 2021 we're probably looking at a little bit more critically than we did
Yeah.
Back in 1999. I remember Formula 1 99 in particular.
I remember Nigel Mansell's Formula 1 racing on the Amiga. So many discs and such an awfully boring game.
I mean, that's Formula 1 games all the way through. So my brother was very good at them and absolutely loved them. But yeah, it is. You have to.
Does your brother like have hyper focus?
You have to race that line. Yeah, it's all about getting that line.
Yeah.
And then just doing that for 400 laps.
Yeah, I am so ADHD by choice when it comes to that sort of stuff. I hate it when everything is the same and neat and tidy. I can't bring myself to do that.
And the realism in there is there was no rubber banding, right? So if you drop behind, that you have to make up those microseconds every lap. In order to come in first. Brutal. And because they were often quite accurate as well, you could do a Grand Prix and it would take you a week.
You have like 24-hour Grand Prix. You're just like, who sets and plays this for that amount of time,
But yeah, the real-time 24-hour Le Mans in various games.
But people do the setup. They get the pedals. They get the steering wheel as well, and they do this and okay, good, enjoy your sim. Yeah. And I suppose
some people
getting those sponsors in there does add that extra level. And maybe maybe they know shit like, oh yeah, you want Pirelli tires because the Pirelli tires during the rain, they'll keep you going and they're a bit more robust than the whatever else tires. I can't think of another brand. I was so happy I thought of a brand of tires.
Michelin?
To be honest. Michelin, yes, exactly. Yeah, the Michelin ones.
Bridgestone. Oh, all the tyre companies coming to me now. Yeah, I don't know. Have we just become so accepting of the fact that mega corporate brands are just in your life that again, something slightly realistic and soothing about seeing them in your virtual reconstruction of billionaire racing and billionaires play basketball and billionaires play football.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's also Red Bull in there, right? 'Cause there's a Red Bull racing team.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, Red Bull was behind everything, and I'm sure skater people drink Red Bull.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Skater people. Alternative lifestyle.
It's not though, is it? Nowadays it's like 40-year-old men and 40-year-old...
It's not. It's like, was it like the 13-year-old girl that won skateboarding at the Olympics?
Yeah.
Now everybody's skateboarding. It's so weird. Like, I got out the train station one day and there was just a bunch of kids and they were wearing Slipknot hoodies and they were on fucking skateboards. And I was like...
And you hobbled along and shook your walking stick at them saying, "You don't know Slipknot well."
Well, it was more kind of like, have I walked out into the 90s? And it was just like, what train is this?
A lot of people, wear the Nirvana smiley face.
That's exactly what I was. Yeah, it wasn't just Slipknot. It was this like 90s grunge band hoodies, slumped on a bench, and they've got their skateboards and their and you're just like,
how dare they?
Like, wow, that is, yeah. Well, I mean, like, all power to them, but it's weird. Yeah. It was weird walking out there, and I was like, this is 30 years ago. I'm looking at right now.
But it's pertinent that you brought up skateboarding in the Olympics, because there was quite a big divide, I gathered, amongst pro skating community, which is a bit like saying the pro Smash Brothers community, because there were not many pro skaters, and because half of them were really happy that the professional loitering was now an Olympic sport, but then the other half were really angry. Cause no, big part of skating is about being counterculture and things like that. So I think it's just hilarious that things like the Nirvana brand and the hat brands and Slipknot.
There is so many things that are counterculture, but the fact that there is such a label means that you are a direct target group.
Yeah. Or there are counterculture brands. Those are the brands if you want to signal your alternative lifestyle.
That's how they should do it. Like, America's got to that point where it's like legalizing cannabis and stuff like that. So they should just literally have a little bag of weed that says counterculture, and just that's what it's called. And I guarantee that's the one that all the little alternative slipneds smoke whilst they
slipneds. I don't think
that was a genuine term in Glasgow, incidentally. Slipneds.
Slipneds, but I don't think the Slipknot hoodie-wearing Slipknot people you see hanging around the shopping mall, or in the actual council-sanctioned skateboarding areas that there are now. They're all middle class.
Oh yeah, and they're really good, and that's why, like, you can stand there and you can watch them. You're like, yeah, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
But then you just start to realise, yeah, you're pro, or you are good enough to be doing this and making money from it, and you are just showing off. And then it's at that point I walk off, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they shout at you for being a weird old man.
Yeah, well, we are weird old men.
I know, shouting at cloud. Oh, what are you skateboarding kids doing?
Why are you wearing that hoodie? You don't know what that hoodie means.
I was there.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I feel like we've not been as critical as brands in games as we really should have been.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, as I said, it has its positives, it has its merits, it has its it's fine. Things. I think you summed up really quite eloquently in a way that I certainly couldn't, and that we have become so used to seeing branding and brands everywhere in our daily life that when we see it, exactly as you said, in your little sand pit, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll buy some Mizuno golf clubs.
Yeah. They're my favourite ones in whatever PGA golf. How about talking? We've talked a little bit about it already, but what happens when things from gaming become brands? So you've got things like Pokemon, Minecraft now is everywhere. Right? I think you can probably get Minecraft cereal,
Fortnite everywhere as well.
Yeah, and you get your action figures. PlayStation itself has basically become a fashion brand.
Yeah. I saw like the coolest backpack ever, and it basically looked like a PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I was just, of course, this was on a kid, and I was like, look how cool that backpack is. And then you're a 40-year-old man looking at some kid's backpack, and that kid probably wasn't even born when PlayStation was out.
Yeah. He probably hates it. He's like, oh god, I got this retro weird shit that my dad likes.
Some prick that my dad, some. Oh, fuck it. Say the word.
And then you've got these high-low fashion. So there's like various NES limited edition NES sneakers, Sonic sneakers, Pokemon
I think we talked
sneakers.
about this on another podcast as well, about the craziness of brands of sneakers, and like how like they have crossovers. I think that's how we were talking about, maybe on our crossovers podcast. But like finding out that there is a Adidas cross, Reebok cross Jurassic Park sneaker, and you're just like, what the fuck? How do these things get there? Sorry for swearing again.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry
Christmas,
fucking Christmas.
Yeah. Any other gaming brands? Which PlayStation's really a big one, I think, at the moment, because you get the.
Well, it's anything that the kids are into. You definitely your Minecraft and Fortnite, and yeah, again, just going into a shop and people are buying like Minecraft t-shirts, and you're just like, really? But there's so much better games. But obviously, it's just like we didn't grow up with them, and it's a different thing,
Yeah, I was at a friend's house last night, and we were chatting, and they got 3 kids, and the 3 kids were watching some like 2 YouTubers just play Minecraft, or just all night.
Man, so
8-hour-long videos. I know. Pac-Man, I think, is quite strong, more of a brand than it ever was games. Although, I don't know. I've been told, reliably informed, that recent Pac-Man games have actually been quite good.
Yeah?
Yeah, the various championship editions, very good additions to the Pac-Man family. But for a long time, it only existed as, mint tin brands, or a mini arcade cabinet, or more than it did the latest Pac-Man game. Although saying that, there was a awful CG series, based on a little pie chart chasing some ghosts around.
Yeah.
Is it time for my poem?
I mean, we talked about branding. Just a couple other ones to just throw in there. You might have a couple as well.
Mm-hmm.
We briefly talked about Lightning, and she did that Versace modelling thing.
Oh,
that was in
yeah.
our fashion and games podcast.
Yeah, Leon's jacket was also a big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Devil May Cry had Diesel jeans in there as well, which was an odd collaboration. I wanted to talk briefly about Syndicate Wars as well.
Oh yeah,
because it had this they had little electronic billboards, which is now reality.
Yeah, like how strange is that?
Yeah, it's like it phased into our lives so naturally. Yet now we have 6 or 7 meter big billboards that are just straight up TV screens.
You just don't even notice them anymore.
No.
On bus stops as well. Not even
on buses.
Yeah.
I remember watching was it Children of Men, which is set just slightly in the future, and it has like these video screens on the sides of buses, and I was like, wow. And it was just the other day there, one went past me and it's like showing an advert for, oh god, I can't even remember, I think it was June, and like, wow, it's happened,
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, the future is now. But yeah, sorry, Syndicate Wars.
Yeah.
So they have these big billboards and they've got electronics, and they were doing trailers for manga, including Akira, and also a trailer for another game that they were doing but never got brought out. Was it Bug Bite or something like that?
Oh yeah, and wasn't there some? Was it Judge Dredd again? Christ.
Yes, I think so. It was Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Oh my god. It's all linked.
Yeah.
It's all...
But I remember, like, when that came out, there was talk about, like, because that was connected to the internet for the PC version, that they would have different billboards. Obviously, that didn't come to anything, and Syndicate Wars was not that big a franchise. But yeah, I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and especially when that was coming out, and all you saw was that mango logo. Mango logo. the manga logo. Oh god, yeah, that was right. The manga logo and whatever it was, 2 seconds of Akira. At a time when, again, in the backwater that was the UK, that was the most you got to see of Akira for the next
or indeed
15 years.
any Japanese culture outside of video games.
Yeah. But again, it kind of had that cool, it's a bit like Red Bull. Here's this cool thing to be interested in and futuristically. But it doesn't. I don't know. There's just so many competitors now. I guess manga doesn't really stand out as much as it used to. That particular manga brand. I know it's silly to have a brand called manga that wasn't releasing manga, but
yeah, I mean, but you used to just buy it on VHS, and it would have that little logo in the bottom corner.
Yeah, which was kind of cool. And I don't think in the UK we ended up with that Japanimation bullshit because God forbid we use some foreign word to describe something.
Yeah.
Animation from Japan. Do you have any other examples? I'd completely forgotten about Cynical Wars.
I've got Super Monkey Ball.
Oh, but that was the that's the brand of bananas, right?
Yeah, exactly. Dole bananas.
That's brilliant. I'm absolutely fine with that. They collect bananas. It's a brand of bananas.
That's cool.
They just released that big new and old anniversary collection of Super Monkey Ball, haven't they?
Oh yeah, maybe.
So tempted because we had some great fucking times on some of those mini games, particularly the one where you launch off the big ramp. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. Is it still sponsored by Dahl?
I would imagine so.
Or is it 7-Up again?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it used to be Dole, but it's now Chiquita.
It's now Judge Dredd's in there somehow and Red Bull.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's still sponsored by Dahl.
Oh, really?
Maybe they're not a brand anymore, actually. I've not seen them for a while. A bit worried. Listen to us search.
I know. I'm genuinely just giggling Dole Banana.
Yeah.
Dole Banana is New Zealand's brand. Yeah. And yeah, they seem to be around.
Okay, but they're not into sponsoring Monkey Ball HD.
I guess not.
If anyone from Dahl, any representatives from Dahl listening, it's not too late. We have patches now. We can patch that shit in.
Right. Okay. And last one I have is Crazy Taxi.
What was the sponsorship there?
Oh, they had tons of everything. They had like KFC. They had other sort of like markets in there, like 7-Elevens. Wasn't 7-Eleven. But yeah.
Can I drop a hot take about Crazy Taxi?
Yes.
I do not care for Crazy Taxi.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was too stressful.
It was incredibly stressful. I kind of feel like I played Crazy Taxi. It was okay, but the Simpsons version of it was much better.
Oh no, I think that's even worse.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a huge Simpsons fan.
Okay.
Oh, take Mr. Burns to the three-eyed fish.
Because they had a couple of Simpsons games. There was definitely one that was just entirely Crazy Taxi, and then there was another one which was Hit and Run, which is the one everybody wants a remaster of.
Really?
Yeah.
I still remember whatever it was, Bart versus the Space Mutants.
Yeah.
It was hats
Bart
off.
versus, yeah, absolutely.
Brutal. brutal hard game.
Such a hard game, and I played it on the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
And I remember my friend had it on the NES, and I was like, "Oh wow, how much better does this look?" Exactly the same game, exactly pixel perfect same game, and you're just like, "Oh, this is so horrible," because like it included jumps.
Yeah.
You had to actually sort of position yourself so that you were hanging off. Like, okay, I'm trying to explain this. 2D platformer, there is a ledge underneath the window. In order to make the jump to get the item that you need to collect, you need to position Bart so it looks like he's floating 1 pixel on the ledge under the window.
I'm looking at screenshots, and it's that first screen which is so triggering.
Yes.
You've got the pink postbox, and you've got the crusty clown, which is impossible to get.
And it's not just that, you also, like, the game is so hard, but then you actually have to go back and you have to spray paint everything as well.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I've made it to the end of this game. All I want is like, to climb up a flagpole and fucking fireworks to go off.
Yeah.
You know,
and there's a level where you had to knock people's hats off, and some people were aliens. Oh, it was
the
quite...
skateboarding bit. There's oh god. Oh man, I would like to spend an afternoon playing that game with you.
Let's do it, because it was, I think, one of those games that I haven't thought about for a long time, but it will instantly come back, and it will still be brutally hard.
So hard.
Yeah. I had it on the Amiga. I had the big box on the Amiga, and I've still got the
that's
came
cool.
with a Bart Simpson keyring in his blue shirt, which I still have.
Ocean games. Good old ocean games.
Good old ocean games. That's what we should do. We should hang outside your train station with our Ocean Games t-shirts on.
Yes, 100%.
I'll wear a Xmasness shirt with the Shadow of the Beast art on it, and you can wear your Ocean Game. You know, the classic Ocean logo one.
I'll hum the Shadow of the Beast theme tune. Sorry. Stop.
Last but not least, and I don't know why I've never played the game, but I always have deep affection for it, is Zool.
You've never played Zool?
No, it was one of those games that my friend had. I already wanted it. It was when Zool came out. I remember at the time being just all over the magazines. I don't know if is it British made.
It wasn't just that over magazines. I think it had a proper, advertising campaign. You used to see things like, what's it called? Like posters for it, and yeah. No, it was quite good.
And that was gratuitously sponsored by Chubba Chops.
Yeah.
The downside, of course, to all of these sponsored games is. There's a high chance we'll never see them again because of lapsed license agreements.
Well, Zool has getting a remaster.
No way.
It was announced like 2 months ago.
Was it 2 months? Okay, I had concern that you told me this on a previous podcast where I was also about,
there's a remaster.
Really cool. It didn't look like a good game. You can see from screenshots that, it's one of these.
I don't know, it was a platformer. It was speedy, as in like sort of Sonic speedy, but at the same time it was probably a platformer similar to Cool Spot in that fashion. Now I haven't played Cool Spot, but I played Zool. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So what happened? Because it was Gremlin, right? Gremlin graphics.
Yeah.
Sumo Digital.
Yep.
That's not going. Do worry about Sumo Digital. Zool Redimensioned review, apparently, August 2021. Maybe it's out. Maybe there we go. That's our next video. Is playing Zool and Bart Simpson versus the Space Beast.
Perfect. Yeah, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Zool Redimensioned. Is it now time for my spoken word about Christmas games?
Okay, right. Let's get a little bit of hush. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
get some quiet.
Okay.
Now, we, that guy's a maniac, want to wish everybody a happy Christmas. And
Merry end of year.
merry end of year and Yuletides and for everybody. So, take it away, Farley.
Okay. Got all the Chivos on Doritos Dash. That McDonald's game was pretty gash. Chubba Chups sponsored Zor. 7-Up on the spot that's cool. Final Fantasy had branded noodles. Furfrou forms looked like poodles. Judge Dredd liked a Red Ball, and so did Wipeout 2097. Longchamp backpack in Pokemon Go. Mercedes-Benz in Mario Kart. Let's go. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.